Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters, or NAPS. What would it take you to step away from your business and start something new? Do something different? One of the amazing things about being our own bosses, owning and running our businesses, is that we can decide when to start something and when to end something. Today, we're really excited to have Aimee Thomas, former owner of Leashes to Leads Pet Care, about how she decided when it was time for a career change, to pursue an opportunity that she just could not refuse. She shares what that was like for her personally and how she made sure to make that transition as smooth as possible for her clients. Let's get started.
My name is Aimee Thomas, and I own Leashes to Leads Pet Care in Ocala, Florida. For those of you that do know, I'm part of the Crazy Ocala group, a huge group of pet sitters that network. So that's my thing, really. I absolutely love my business. I'm really, really proud of it. Today is the official last day, though, for now.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that for now here in a little bit. That sounds very, very interesting. I'm sure, there's a lot going on, but, how long have you been running your business?
My business started January, I think it was January 3rd is the official day of 2019. So
Wow.
Almost ending it exactly. So
I'm going to say it is exactly 5 years, because that's a distinction that doesn't need to be there. But what got you started? What back in January of 2019 or December of 2018? Kind of what was going on at that time?
Well, it's actually kind of started happening in December. Well, first of all, I've been in sales and customer service my entire life, and I suffered a traumatic brain injury back in 20. Now I'm sitting here going, oh shoot, when was it? 2013. And I just didn't fit in anymore into corporate America. I was really unhappy. I bounced around a little bit and was just frustrated. And I stumbled upon a website. It was actually Ocala Pet Settings website, Shannon Hendon, which you've had, and found that she was looking for somebody to help out. So an independent contractor. So I typed up, did my whole thing, and I heard back from her, and she asked me to meet with her. I think we met at Panera's and just really hit it off. And so I actually started as an independent contractor with her in December 2018. So, and she told me not too far in, she said, "You're really meant to do this." And we had a little bit of, at that time, there was kind of a hole in the area where I lived in Northwest Ocala and Marion County. And she encouraged me to start my own business and was my mentor.
Wow.
So,
That's what a wonderful influence to have, and have somebody like that in your life, to be able to not only to be able to see that kind of thing in you and really help foster that.
right. She was amazing. I always tell every now and then I just go, "Thank you." Thank you so much. So, yep, I still did independent contracting with her while I built my business, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, and that's one just really wonderful thing to be able to have that, and then to give that to other people, right? When you can have that kind of influence to help educate others, to help encourage them. And we need that more often in our life than many of us really ever believe, because it's kind of easy, I don't know, to start thinking, oh, now we've got this all figured out, we don't need anybody's help. And then you run into problems, you run into issues, or maybe you've got that really down day where you're not feeling the best. To have somebody else rooting in your corner really makes all the difference.
Absolutely. The ladies that in my network, I could not do without them. And I'm still in the, texting it with them all the time and keep up with them, and told them that I am still going to be involved in the network and helping train any new people that come on and helping mentor. So because we need more and more. I mean, it's not, it shouldn't be a competition.
Yeah. Well, I know that's a big thing that that for you in that group, the crazy Ocala group. But talk about the role that was over the years for you, and kind of why that was necessary for you, or you felt you needed to be involved.
Oh, definitely, because I hate to tell people no. So when somebody would reach out to me and, can you do this, or do you cover this area? And it's like, I don't like just saying no. I like to say, well, I'm not able to, I'm not available, or I don't actually cover that area, but I can recommend somebody else to you that does.
Mm.
So that was a huge part. And also, just nobody understands some of the stuff that pet sitters go through, except for other pet sitters. And so, whether it was having a difficult client, the death of a client's pet, just weird things that come up, and you could reach out to them and say, hey, this is going on. Has anybody else been through this? Any recommendations? So,
Yeah, I know when a lot of people think about having a group, right? I think a lot of us think, oh, I just need to get a referral network. That's what I need to build. I need so they don't have to say no. But you guys really took it to that next level where, I mean, genuine friendships, support, encourage.
yeah.
Like it was kind of an everything group for you all.
Yes, yes. I've God, I've called Shannon more than once in tears from, a client's pet passing, or just something happening. She's called me once in a panic because she was having problems catching a cat that was showing signs where it needed to go to the vet. So I was able to get over there really quick in between clients and help her catch the cat and get it to the vet. So um, we reach out for all kinds of reasons, even if it's just, send each other a joke to, make each other laugh, or, hey, heads up, big accident here, at this intersection, guys, avoid this area.
That alone is worth its weight in gold, right? Avoiding traffic snarls. Yeah, sign me up. Now, you, as far as the services that you were offering, what kind of stuff were you doing for your clients?
I did regular drop-in pet visits, the dog walks or play for those that had jobs where they couldn't come home for lunch or whatever. Also for clients, older clients that really couldn't go out and give their dog the same amount of exercise that they used to. Also, my really big thing that I got into was live-in pet care. I offered what I called 20-hour pet sitting, or I ended up changing that to almost all day pet care. And it's really where I was trying to always be there 20 out of 24 hours. So I could, leave to go do other things. I was very careful about what clients that I took on for that particular service.
Yeah.
But ended up having absolutely amazing clients that I loved. And it was more relaxing to be able to hang out all day and take care of their animals, take care of stuff, there. Plus I could take my computer, get caught up on computer things, and so postings and all of that. So for me, it was much more relaxing. I had my husband at home taking care of our pets. So it worked out perfect for us.
Did you have certain criteria I mean, you talk about you were very selective, right? If, for
Mhm.
those kind of clients, was it more of the kind of people that you were working with, or was there a target kind of pet where when I hear that kind of service, I immediately think, oh, it was a special needs pet, or they were just, post op, or they were needing some sort of continuous monitoring, or kind of what did you find that niche filled?
Well, one thing that I started right from the very beginning is I targeted more high-end clients. So it was, clients that didn't have any problem paying that service because it's not an inexpensive service, of course.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure it was someplace that I was comfortable being, felt safe and comfortable to stay there for that long, and just had the right click with both the client and the pets. Um, I only ever had one client that I did that for that only had two animals. They were actually the one I started doing it for because they had a dog that has medical issues and has to eat a little bit every like 4 hours. So, but then after that, I had clients that had a lot of pets and a lot of different pets.
Yeah, I could easily see how that would be it would be attractive to those kind of clients because there's such a diversity of needs, and kind
Mhm.
of even just aligning that to a standard 3 visits a day, or 4 visits a day would be really hard to get everything done and make sure each pet gets the attention that they really need or that the client wants.
Not to mention, God, 4 visits a day. I was exhausted.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
just I didn't live in, I could take a nap in the middle of the day with the client's pets. So worked out better for me.
Yeah. Well, again, these pros and cons that a lot
Yeah.
of, it takes, you don't really know what you don't know until you experience it. And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, yeah, I don't like that. Cause it is amazing how big of a difference one visit makes. Like 3, oh man, all of a sudden that's like, yeah, I can do that. And then 4, it's like, for some reason, there's like a mental blockage in my brain of like, I'm over there all the time. Like I'm never, it becomes overwhelming at that point.
Right. It does.
Now, were you, that again for that kind of high end service? Were you marketing? How were you attracting those particular clients?
Um, I am one of those that I did the car wrap. So I got so many amazing clients
Uh,
from doing the car wrap. Of course, I had to mind my P's and Q's.
no speeding.
No speeding, no inappropriate hand signals, and to watch sign language. But it was wonderful. It was great for me. That was probably um, my best uh, value
Mm,
for anything that I did was that. And the clients would see me. I mean, other people would see me in those particular high end neighborhoods all the time, and then I'd get a phone call. And I also, so again, I didn't worry about so how some people worry about the wrap on the car, letting people know that this person is gone. Well, I was in gated communities, or I also was doing farms. So I was in, gated individual farms.
mm.
Um, so I never had a client have a problem with that.
Yeah, and to have something that is literally parked outside, like it is a mobile billboard that's just stationary for 20 of the 24 hours a day. Of course it's going to be seen by the neighbors, right? Like that is something
Yep.
that they can't help but see, and then that builds that notoriety, that builds that familiarity with people, of as far as just name recognition.
Right. And I'm very, very active on social media. So I was posting daily, sometimes multiple times a day. And I didn't really post um, about specific services or, book me for this, or I tended to post fun stuff, funny things,
Yeah.
educational things, different fun photos of client pets. um, so I have a really had that I did close down already, had a very active social media account. People were reaching out to me. And people, they felt that they knew me. I was constantly getting recommended by people that I didn't know, I'd never even heard of, but they were recommending me to other people because they were actually following me or seeing my car.
or following your car that they were there for you.
Yeah, I have gotten some of those. Hi, I'm driving behind you.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Doug from Bad to the Bone Pet Care has this to say.
Time to Pet has made managing my team and clients so much easier. Our clients love the easy-to-use app and scheduling features, and our sitters love being able to have all of their information organized and easily accessible. My favorite feature is the instant messaging. By keeping conversations on Time to Pet, we are able to monitor our team and ensure nothing ever falls through the cracks.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. Well, all over, right? Well, and I think that is important because, the car wraps, I know it is, it's a financial investment, right? And it does elevate you all the more as far as kind of putting a spotlight directly on you. We don't just get to blend into the background anymore, but we do need to think about from our client's perspective. And we all could sit here and go, yeah, I probably have 3, maybe 5 clients who I might have to have a more in-depth conversation about this, or maybe more, but you get a sense of your clientele of whether that's something that would be a fit for them,
right?
Or it may be a sign that you can need to attract some different kind of clients if that's the direction you want to go to, because it is not going to be for everybody.
Exactly.
And so you're running your business. Did you ever think that you would stop running your business?
No.
No.
I had no intentions of stopping.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely was. When it happened, it was kind of. I now work for a client that is somebody that was a client of mine. They were actually my number one client, and they were having some issues with employees, and kind of tossed it out there about, I don't suppose you'd want to, and then ha ha ha, and I'm like, well, and then I kept thinking about it, and then kind of tossed back and forth, and next thing you know,
you're signing some employment papers.
Yeah.
So what was that process like then? I mean, going from a lot of people from, I feel like, we're 5-6 years into this. We've been doing this for, full time for about that time. And then we've been doing it, part time even longer than that. There is a sense for, like, me personally, I know other people can get the sense of like, oh man, I could never go work for somebody else, or I could never, do that kind of thing again, because I'm kind of spoiled now. It's kind of been ruined for me. So for you, what was going through your head of like, how did it go from, laugh and chuckle to signing on the dotted line and, showing up for work the next day?
Well, honestly, I love this client, and I've been with them since 2019, and I was doing the live-ins there. And every time I've gone to a conference and heard the amazing Janie Budnick speak, she would start talking about, you should never have a client that is the biggest portion, like you should never have a client that's like 20% of your business. And every time she said that, I would go, oh God, she's talking to me. Because this client actually they were 20 and then crawled up to, they were 30% of my business.
Wow.
So, and everybody's like, well, if you lose them, that's a huge, that's hard to come back from. This particular client, I wasn't worried about that with. I can't really get into everything. They're very private, but I absolutely love. If I wasn't at home or on vacation in the Caribbean, my favorite place in the world to be was at their farm. It is beautiful. I love their animals. They have a 100+ acre farm. And they have horses, they have cows, lots of miniature cows. And they now have pigs and sheep and Great Danes. And it's an amazing place. And they are wonderful people. So it just, when I started thinking about it and thinking that, wow, except for when they travel, I'll actually have weekends again. And
Ah,
I was off Christmas Eve and Christmas. I haven't been off Christmas Eve and Christmas. The last time I was 2017.
mm,
I'm off tomorrow. So that's a nice thing. But I'm still getting to do so much of what I was already doing, just with
yeah.
the same animals every day. So
Yeah, it really does sound like a one in a million kind of opportunity, right?
yes.
I'm sure, when you're like, oh no, I'll never quit this because what could possibly be better than what I'm doing right now? And it's like, well, I found it. It really sounds like.
Yes, yes. Could I have gone back to working in an office? Absolutely not.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is something that we tend to think about. Again, for me, of like, yeah, oh man, I could never go back to that old life. But I think if I sat down with pen and paper, I could probably imagine a scenario that would be too good to pass up if it came across my path, where all of a sudden it went, you know what? Given it sounds like for you too, Aimee, going, yeah, weekends, nights, less of the stress. It's not all on me. Like there, all of a sudden there adds things add up to where you start going, man, in this scenario, this decision makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I kept going over and over it in my own mind. And then I kind of threw it out to my husband. And and then the next person I talked to was actually my accountant and bookkeeper. My husband and I have actually become really good friends with them. And we met for dinner one night, and I'm like, okay, let me tell you what's come up. And he was really able to go over, some ideas with me. He knew how big a portion of my business that they were.
Yeah.
And, started thinking, okay, well, what clients would you have to give? How, what are you looking at as far as finance wise? What are you losing from each of these clients? Because I did do it slowly. I accepted the job, but I didn't close down my business completely. I handed all of my clients that I was doing the live-ins with off to other pet sitters that do the live-ins as well in my network. And I found the right fit for each client and worked with them. Those were personal phone calls to each client. So, and then once I talked to everybody that I was, that are active clients, and then I posted on my Facebook page. And at that time, I was still keeping like cat clients where I could do a stop before work and a stop after work. Some of my farm clients with horses that would have me either do one stop a day or two. And again, I could do it before work and after. And then also I do MagnaWave, and I kept my MagnaWave going as well.
Yeah, so what was that conversation like with those clients? So you said, personal phone call, and because again, I think it's important to note, like, just the kind of care that you were providing, like this really necessitated a phone call. And I know phone calls tend to be very scary for a lot of people, but if you've built this kind of long-term relationship where you are providing almost all day, 20 out of 24-hour care, that's a level of connection that you don't get with most clients. So what was that phone call like?
Because of the network that I'm with and the way that I am and what I did with these clients is I had already gotten a lot of clients to get set up with somebody else as a backup with the network, because you never know. You never know what could happen. Either one, I was getting crazy busy. So I had actually stopped taking new clients for the last year or so. Um, so except for an occasional one that would fall in, and I was like, okay, well, that'll fit still. But most of them, I wasn't taking new clients. So a lot of them were already set up with who I got them to transition to as their backup. So that helped a lot. And they understood, I talked to them about, what I was doing and, why I was doing it. And, yeah, they were upset. They were sad to see me go, but they were really excited for me. And they love knowing that I'm here for them. If they have any problems, the pet sitter that's taking over, they know they can reach out to me, as that I'll be here and they can reach out. And that has already happened. Some, call with a question or,
Yeah.
one of them's like, okay, I cannot read her handwriting. I can't read the Wi-Fi password. I'm like, oh, here it is. I couldn't read it either.
Oh my gosh.
So, or, something funny. Well, this dog is doing this. And I'm like, okay, that's normal. Let me show you. Let me tell you. And,
Yeah.
So they like still being able to have that. So, and that was just something really important for me to provide for them.
Did you get any counter offers for them to go work for other clients? No, I'm kidding.
No.
No, but that being able to, that this is where a lot of the groundwork that we lay in our business, we don't always see or understand how it may impact us down the line. Having a backup sitter on hand that you've already done an introduction to, that's already maybe used, that you've had to use maybe once or twice before, like that's prudent in business, so that if we have an emergency or something comes up, our clients are still cared for. Like that's a really good best practice for how we're to operate. And now in this scenario, how much more beneficial is that to be able to say, look, for you, technically the client, like nothing's really changing because you've already experienced this, and it's just going to be on a more permanent basis now. And there's not, it's a much, in that case, it takes away so many of the unknowns for the client to figure out. Because you could imagine if you weren't able to do that, all of a sudden this client's thrown back into the pool of possibilities, way more stress, concern, it's just a whole ordeal. And you're able to go, nope, here's this person you've already met, literally, like everything. Now just go forth and contact them directly.
Right. Yeah. So, and some of them, maybe the person that I gave them wasn't going to be available for a few things that were coming up in the next 6 months. So I got them set up with a second person as well. So we all know, work really well together and can tag team. And, a lot of us were already sharing, because I had them set up too. We were already kind of sharing clients, they, whenever I was available, they would book with me. And if I wasn't available, they would book with Shannon or with Rosie or Tiffany or Ashley and they knew that they were their own business, had their own insurance, had their own method of getting paid. And so they were already set up and doing that.
Did you ever think about selling your business?
No. For me, I know that was something that was brought up in a lot of the pet sitter conferences that I've been to. It wasn't something I wanted to do. It's my baby. It's something I'm proud of. I also, took a step that most people don't. I actually had my business name and my logo trademarked. So, and it's, trademarked for a few more years out there. And I may go ahead and do all the stuff to keep it going once we hit that point. So for me, I want to keep it there. One of the other people I contacted was I had my website was built by Marketing Solutions.
Okay.
So I reached out to Erica as soon as I made the decision that I was actually going to let the business go for now. And she was able to help me out and ask me some questions, answer some of my questions, and we've got everything backed up. And then I chose to I'm keeping my email still, my business email. I still have it for now. I'm keeping the domain name locked down. So I basically got it. If something happens, in the future, or it just gets to the point where maybe I want to go back to doing that when I get older and just take, cats only, or, something like that, then I'll be able to step back up and roll with it.
It's hard to believe, but the 2025 NAPS conference is just over 1 month away, taking place from February 28th through March 2nd in Tempe, Arizona. This year's theme is Enrich and Elevate, and their goal is to bring together industry leaders with session topics that are idea-focused and on a wide range of subjects to foster learning and inspiration for your mind, body, and business. Registration is still open. Tickets are still available as of right now, so visit petsitters.org to get started. Yeah, and I think that's another good point here of, it's not just as simple as flipping a switch to turn off a business, right? So did you go through and, file paperwork with the state to say, LLC or whatever is no longer in function or anything like that? Or are you just kind of quietly making it, most of the stuff non-visible to people in the public?
I am. Some things I'm doing non-visible. Some things I've closed. Like, actually, Facebook says whenever you close Facebook, if you completely close it and say you're out of business, you lose everything there. Yeah. I don't want to lose. So you can actually do a temporary close to where you still have everything in the background. It's kind of a pain to get to it, but I can still get to it. I did, some things I didn't want to completely close that door and lose things. I wanted backups and more backups. So I've got a whole backup of my website. So, it's just, I had to approach each thing and just kind of list out, okay, what am I, everything that I'm paying out, what do I want to keep? What do I, it's.
Yeah, in that sense, you're kind of weighing the pro cons of keeping it versus the pains of getting it back at that point, and going, how valuable is this? And yeah, a Facebook page with reviews and all of your photos and all that history, pretty valuable. So you don't just want to throw that away unless you're really sure.
Right. So, and like I said, I'm really sure that it's closed for now, but there's always.
I love it. I'm 100% sure for the time being it is.
No, I can't see me starting it up at this time. I can't see me starting it up again for, another few years. I am so happy doing what I'm doing. So I absolutely love it.
Well, so what was that first day like, where you didn't have any of your own clients? They had all been handed over, and you were to show up at the job ready to go. What was that day like?
It was weird. It was really, I guess, kind of bittersweet. But because, there are some animals you're used to seeing every day, and now I'm not going to see them. And, but I can, follow somebody else's Facebook and see when they post pictures of them. And sometimes they'll text me a funny picture or video or story or something just to me directly, so I know what's going on. But at the same time, it was so freeing too. So it's, now the care of all of these animals is, mine and my bosses, so I can, if I see that there's an issue, if I saw there was an issue whenever I was pet sitting for them, I would let them know, of course. But sometimes you're not seeing an issue unless you're there every day. So uh, now I'm starting, it's like, okay, I'm seeing this kind of issue with this particular animal. And I've done some research, and here's some recommendations. Or, I've reached out uh, to different contacts. And then I can kind of make some suggestions, and then we go from there. We work back and forth. And um, so we just got a new calf that we have started on some electrolytes today. So she's still bottle feeding, but we put her on electrolytes too. So we're just working together to take care of them all. So making sure they've got everything that they need to be healthy and happy.
Well, and it takes that phrase that I know a lot of pet sitters have of, I want to build a relationship with these clients. I want to build a long-term relationship with their pets. Takes that all to a whole nother level, right? Of like, nope, like literally every day I'm in here and I'm focused on these particular animals. And so it definitely, it still takes that aspect of that. I know you loved and you enjoyed in your own business, and now going, I can apply it now in this new, more direct and concentrated way.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I love it. It's so much fun. And my father-in-law keeps telling me, he goes, I knew you were happy with, with your business and everything. He goes, but there's like a whole new light in your eyes now, being able to work specifically one-on-one with each of these animals. And one of the guys that works with me, he'll be driving by and he'll see me with, one of the calves or with the horses or whatever. And he just calls me, and he starts laughing and shaking his head and going, "Animal mama."
That's right. Don't forget it. And I think that's just such an important point of, I think many times when people think about what's it going to be like leaving their business or stepping away from their business, it like what scenario would that happen? We kind of joked about like, that perfect, Goldilocks scenario kind of thing. But like, to know like, yeah, I could step away from this and not be suffering from massive burnout, or not be suffering major loss of revenue, or not be all of these negative reasons, but to be able to go, man, what I'm doing, I love. This is amazing. I still am really happy with what I'm doing here, but there's an opportunity that I need to pursue, and it might, who knows where that's going to lead, right? But like to leave a business in that way, right? That's such a wonderful way to kind of just take a step out for the time being.
Right. Yeah. I want to, I want to make sure that everybody's taken care of, and I've got everything locked down and closed for now, but I've still got that there for me, for the future.
Right.
So if I choose to, who knows, maybe I won't. So, but it's my baby, and it's just tucked away for now.
It's down for a small nap, right? That's fine. Now, I did want to circle around because I know you mentioned the Magna Wave that you do, and I was curious how you're using this in your work, in your business, and kind of like why that was something that was interesting to you.
I got it originally. Well, first of all, I had found out about PEMF, which Magna Wave is a brand of PEMF, in my previous life in sales.
Okay.
I helped with advertising for a company here in Ocala that does PEMF, a different brand from Magna Wave. And so I already knew it. I completely believed in it. I'd had it done on myself and my dogs as well, and knew somebody that was a Magna Wave practitioner, had her cards, had all her contact information. And when some of the client pets that I was taking care of, when I saw where Magna Wave could be a benefit to them, I talked to them about it. Clients were interested, and I would give them her information. Not a single person that I gave her information to ever contacted her.
Hmm.
And I was actually planning in the future, I was going to invest in MagnaWave. And she and I kept talking back and forth. And she goes, they're not contacting me. She goes, they already, even though they're interested, they have a relationship built with you. They're comfortable with you. She said, since you were already planning on doing it in the future, do you have the ability to step in and do it now? Well, it was 2020.
Uh,
And I still had a lot of clients because I did have a lot of clients that were first responders. So they were working insane hours. So I was going to their homes once or twice a day, taking care of their pets. So I decided, you know what the heck? I've lost, all of these vacation clients and so on. So let me go ahead and make the investment. And I did it. I got set up with it. And all of my clients that I had made recommendations to all got me to start doing MagnaWave with them. And some of
Nice.
them are still doing it today. So they absolutely, others, they did it as long as their pets were around. It was something that was wonderful. It really helps older pets with just getting the discomfort, the joints and stuff as they start getting sore. It kept them going. And so many of my clients said, I felt like I got months more, with our pup because you were doing that MagnaWave. And they said, I got more time. And he or she was still felt good. We knew when we needed to make the decision, but I felt like we got months more than we would have without it. So that was
Mm.
wonderful to be a part of. Plus, it's great for like wounds and stuff when they have an injury or have a surgery or something. It helps them heal faster.
Right, and be able to come alongside that client and either while they're traveling be doing that, or while you're doing your normal visits, or would you do standalone MagnaWave visits for people, or were they in combination with other things?
Mostly I was doing it was either it may have been I was just doing MagnaWave, but it was a client for that I'd done pet sitting with. I did keep a few that were MagnaWave only, but I only took those really if they were kind of in the area that I covered, and was potential maybe in the future that they could go beyond MagnaWave. So unless it was like a really interesting case that I couldn't, help, but I stepped in and helped with a Savannah monitor lizard that had gotten egg bound, and yeah, so actually it was with a rehabilitation person, a reptile rehabber. So I even, did that at no charge just so I could have the experience and be able to share it with other MagnaWave practitioners. So I've also I'm the one that does all of the exotic animals. So everybody always says, Aimee will do it. Yes, I have cats and dogs. I have horses. I have cows. I've also taken care of emus and ostriches and a camel and a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, and it's that kind of, that, uh, and, in your business, or, even in a normal job, like there is this a little bit of kind of trial by choice of what do I want to try, what I want to do. And I think that kind of thing is really important to never stop doing, right? I'm sure the MagnaWave, Reddit forums, they've probably never involved a monitor lizard or anything like that. And so to be able to talk about that and take your experience from your other treatments and other things and bring that into this, and just when we run our own businesses to go, how do I stay fresh? How do I stay involved? How do I keep my skills and knowledge sharp? Well, I can't just do the same thing all of the time. Like I am going to have to try different things to see how I grow, to see how I need to adapt to these things as well.
Yeah. And also I always tell people, don't say I'm never going to. Because when I started, I wasn't interested in doing overnights. And that became That became my thing, and I loved them. So it depends, and it can change. I mean, some people it doesn't work. It doesn't work out for them. It doesn't work for their particular where they are in life. So for me, it did, and I went from saying I'm never going to do overnights to occasionally having months where I was home 5 nights in the
Yep.
So, but I always made sure I took time to come home and, spend time with my husband, spend time with my own dogs and stuff. So, I made sure I always did that, but I loved what I was doing, and I love what I'm doing now too.
Yeah. Right. You were never going to sell your business. You were never going to not be running a business, right? Now here you are. And I think that's it is important to have a distinction between, like, obviously we need to have boundaries of the things we will never do, like, that are unacceptable to us. But
Right.
what you're talking here, Aimee, is like, don't limit yourself to possibilities, and don't be afraid to try new things. Just test it out and see. And a lot of times we could be concerned about, well, if that really is successful, that means I'm going to have, more work to do. Or if that really is, or if that is successful, that means maybe I was wrong. But always having that attitude of, well, let me learn something else here, and really see if it's, it's like my kids, whenever they're eating something and they're like, what do you think of that? I don't like it. Well, did you try it? Well, no. Well, you can't say you don't like it, right? And so have a bite, and then we'll have another discussion.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh. Well, Aimee, I'm really thankful for you coming on the show today and talking about this topic of your decision to step away from your business for the time being and explore this new opportunity. And as it is such a wonderful fit for you, and how you did that with grace, and still loving your existing clients and making sure they were treated well and setting them up for success. I think that's really, really important, that for how you did that. So if people are interested in getting in touch with you, kind of picking your brain about this, and kind of what that process was like for you, how best can they do that?
Best way is you can still send me an email. And my business email is still up, and it's Aimee, and that's AIMEE at leashestolids.com. So that's still going to be up and going for months at least. So you can always reach out to me that way.
Cool. Well, I'll have that in the show notes, so people can get connected with you there, Aimee. Absolute pleasure getting to have you on the show and talk about this. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
As Aimee said, don't limit yourself to possibilities. Sometimes stepping into something new can bring a whole new light into your life. We need that every now and then, don't we? We may be in love with our business. We may be happy with how things are going, but need to change things up, need to do something a little bit new, and just see where that possibility is and explore those opportunities that are before us. And that's what's so amazing about what we get to do. We get to have a business, explore opportunities, and sometimes that does mean putting our business aside for at least a little bit, and at least for a time, so we can explore something else, learn something else, and bring that light into our life when we need it most. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet and the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters, for making today's show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.